Every community has stories that make it unique, and every house has stories just waiting to be told. That's what Elmhurst Art Museum Executive Director Jenny Gibbs discovered after joining the museum's leadership team. This house, the Mies McCormick House, is a Chicago story.
Mies is really known as a Chicago guy. It's like the Cubs and Mies. I think almost all Chicagoans, even if they're not interested in art or architecture, have some familiarity with Mies. He completed 24 projects in the United States. 18 of them are in Chicago. So when you think about the reputation, the celebrity of Mies, it's largely based on the work that he did in Chicago. This house had been kind of overlooked and forgotten for decades. He built only 3 houses in the United States.
For Bob Eck, it was something out of the ordinary, back behind the trees that caught his eye each morning on the way to school.
I remember the first time seeing the house was being on the school bus, going to school as a freshman at York High School. It was, these 2 all-glass cubes, one level, flat roof, kind of stuck together, and it's just not something, in my experience, you would expect to see as a house. I remember that a lot of us commented about it. My older brother started at York the same time I did because he transferred from Driscoll Catholic. And so I remember when we came home from school, we were on different routes because we were on different schedules, and both saying, "Man, did you see that house?"
Poet laureate Isabella Gardner entertained in this house. Among her guests were Tennessee Williams, Orson Welles, and T.S. Eliot. It was the house that she called home from 1952 until 1959. The less is more design of Mies makes this house a Chicago story. And in 1994, when the Elmhurst Foundation moved it from the wooded lot on Prospect Avenue, it became part of the Elmhurst Art Museum story. And sometimes we need to be reminded of the great stories that exist in our own communities. Marcia Goldschman says she remembers a conversation in the early 90s that recognized this house as art.
And Holly Cohn, who is a local artist that lived down the street, she's more than local, she was a Chicago artist. The art museum should buy it. Sandra Jorgensen, who was at the lunch also, a good friend of ours, who was also the head of the art department at Elmhurst College, she said, "That's a good idea."
Now the time has come to restore the luster of Elmhurst's masterpiece, to celebrate its stories and create new ones. With your help, we can make this house, our glass house, a showpiece for the museum, for this community, and for architectural tourists from around the world.